NPF batteries are some of the most popular in the camera world, but typically you got to carry around annoying chargers to go with them and they take forever to recharge. And these kind of batteries are really useful because they power things like sliders, lights, and monitors. And this new Smallrig NPF 970 battery with USB-C takes the classic NPF-L style battery and improves it by adding USB-C charging to this and also the ability to power multiple devices with it. So you can use this on pretty much any gear that uses NPF-L batteries. I actually bought two of these because I even have some lights that require two of these batteries. I've been testing these with my Amaran P60Cs, my Atomos Ninja V, and some other camera gear as well. And I've found that you get plenty of battery life out of these, but you do need to do some testing with your gear. So before you go use it in a professional setting, you can have an idea of how much battery life to expect out of each of these with each of your individual pieces of equipment. Also, if you're going to use this with the monitor and the camera at the same time, you should run some tests too, just so you can get an idea of how long it's going to power that setup. So on the batteries, they've got a very simple design. I love the lines on the side of them. You got a USB-C port, and you can use that to either recharge this or also to power other devices. And this supports up to 36 watts of power in or out, and it'll allow it to be recharged in about 3.5 hours, which is pretty fast for one of these. Also, what's nice is there's a screen on the top of it too with a little button you can press, and that'll tell you how much battery life you have left. And as you're charging, you'll see how close you are to having the battery full. And then on the top, you do have a USB-A port, and this has a nice little rubber stopper on the top of it. I believe the USB-A port supports up to 26 watts of power. The biggest downside of this is that it is going to be limited on the total amount of wattage. So if you're using this with a couple different pieces of gear at the same time, it's not going to do as well. And I also did find that when I tried to use this with my Shark Slider Nano 2 with the DJI gimbal on top of it, it wasn't working on that very well. But this worked just fine for powering a slider by itself, or also for powering my camera monitor and my lights. Another really cool trick with this is you can actually put this directly on a camera monitor, power your camera monitor, and then with a compatible camera, you just run the USB-C cord and plug that directly into the side of your camera. So this can work as a way to have a very simple and minimal camera rig to give a ton of battery life on your camera and to also keep your monitor powered at the same time. These come in a couple different colors. You can get them in black, a nice olive, and also an orange, but I got the black one just to have the minimal low profile look. I also really love the display on it, although I do find that sometimes you have to press the button a couple times to get it to actually come on. Now, it looks really cool, really sleek, and really minimal. Another thing about these that is great, if you have some of these newer ones by Smallrig and older chargers, you can also still always charge these on the other L-style battery chargers as well if you don't want to just use the USB-C port in it. The biggest downside to these is that they are more expensive than regular NPF 970 batteries at $80, but I think it's worth it to get a couple of these because of the convenience of charging it with the USB-C port. You can keep it charged with the same cables as your computers and really any of your other tech gear, and that just makes it way faster than having to dig out a charger and try to figure out how much battery life this has. Another thing that you can do with this is you can also buy the Smallrig battery plate and use that to power a camera rig with a dummy battery, but I think the biggest problem to doing something like that is your setup is going to get bulkier and you're going to need a way to rig it. Like Smallrig has the 4696 setup that would work really well with this, but the problem with that is by the time you get the battery, the plate, the dummy battery, you might just want to consider looking into a V-mount battery to power that camera rig because it's going to last longer, act as a better counterweight, and also it is going to have a higher wattage out of it. So I think these are really for the user who uses a lot of L batteries but wants a more convenient way to keep them recharged with the USB-C port and also the ability to know how much power is left with the screen on top. It'll also make a great mini camera rig if you just want to use a monitor and charge your camera with the USB-C port on it. But if you want to use more accessories or if you want to rig it out with a whole plate, I would probably steer you towards the V-mount batteries instead. This battery has a capacity of 76.65 watt hours, and it also comes in at 10.5 thousand milliamp hours, so it's going to be just fine to carry on an airplane as well. And you can also use this as a power bank for your phone in a pinch too. Just use the USB-C port and plug that into your device of choice. Also, you've always got that USB-A port on the top of it as well. So overall, highly recommend these for anyone who's already using a couple NPF-L batteries in their camera rig or for different lights or monitors. And if you just want a way to keep everything charged really quick with the convenience of the USB-C port. If you're interested in buying one of these, I do have links to buy in the description below. If you have any questions about these NPF 970 batteries, leave a comment down below. I'd love to answer them. Like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. If you want to learn more about V-mount batteries, check out this video.